Okay, so I wanted to do a video and talk about how I published 3 books in 4 months while building a relationship with AI technology. No gatekeeping, just giving you the real, authentic, raw experience that I had and giving you insights that other people may not be giving you because they're probably doing it from a more corporate perspective. So this is like a grassroots perspective. And if I'm looking down, it's because I have notes because I want to keep my ideas organized so I can make sure to properly express with you what it is that I'm communicating. So the first thing that I did to publish 3 books in 4 months while building a relationship with AI technology was I built a relationship with ChatGPT. Find your own AI search engine. Find the one that you feel like communicates with you and speaks to your personality. I experimented with Gemini. I experimented with a couple of other AI engines, and I felt a little bit more at home with ChatGPT, so I decided to start there. So I developed a relationship with ChatGPT. I spent 2 weeks just kind of having a conversation with ChatGPT about different things that I thought, different ideas that I was having. I wanted to introduce my personality to Chat. So I treated Chat like it was a co-author. I didn't. I don't want to say I programmed it. I want to say that I developed a language with Chat over time, and I started developing a language by communicating to Chat that my worldview is rooted in Christian faith. I didn't want Chat to overly philosophize my ideas. I didn't want Chat to be overly academic. I wanted a balance of spirituality, practical thinking, and thoughtful conversation between the two of us. And I wanted Chat to challenge my ideas without replacing my voice. And so I think it took about 2 weeks for that to happen because um, Chat is still developing, right? So AI is like this vast technology and artificial intelligence, but the key word is artificial, right? So it doesn't know anything beyond what we're teaching it to know, and so I kind of took advantage of that. Um, Amelia Bedelia. There is a children's book called Amelia Bedelia. There's a series, and Amelia Bedelia is the main character, and she takes everything literally. So, for instance, if you say, Amelia, change these curtains out. In the book, she like goes. I think it's towels. It's towels or curtains. But in the book, she goes and she gets scissors and she makes completely new curtains. They said change the curtains out. Change the curtains. They didn't tell her to. You have to be literal. They didn't tell her to take the curtains down, put new curtains up. They just told her to change it, and so that's what she did. And so that's kind of what you get with Chat. Chat is extremely literal. It is kind of still like a baby. It's still like an embryo, and so you have to develop a relationship with it. You have to talk to it like that, and biggest that was the biggest part of building out that co-author relationship with Chat. And what else do I have here? Um, I put down that every now and then that I have to redirect Chat because AI will fall back into its default style. And so yeah, that's really important. Like I said, you build out the relationship. So as you're uh, growing this relationship with it, you do have to realize that it is a system, and so it will go back into its default setting. So I would be deep into my work, and then I would notice that the language was changing. I would notice that the conversation, like Chat wasn't feeling like my buddy no more. That he had went into like Doctor super philosophical uh, neuroscientist or something like that. And so I was like, hey, chat, you know what I'm saying? You didn't kind of get away from, the experience that we were having. Can you bring it back in a little bit? And it'll adjust itself. The second thing that I did was I cross-referenced. So I began a relationship, a smaller relationship. Chat is my major AI relationship, but I began a smaller relationship with Claude. Um, so I wanted to do that because I wanted to be able to reference between the two. And so that's what I did. I developed a relationship with Claude. To me, ChatGPT feels more like a buddy, and Claude is more like a guidance counselor. So I was, copying and pasting ideas, chapters, and the chapter ideas and fallouts of my chapter between the two, and then kind of like judging for myself to figure out where I would end up at. And it worked out. It worked well for me. It did. Um, let's see. Be very specific with these engines to make sure that they are speaking in your tone. So you have to be tedious in your interactions with it, whatever is coming up. Be tedious about how you're going line by line to make sure that it is speaking in your tone. I wouldn't have more than two sentences in any of my work that I didn't make sure that it didn't sound like chat. And what I mean is like sounding too philosophical when I wanted to sound a little bit more practical. Okay, so then one of the things that I did was I created my book covers early. Um, that was important because it allowed me to see the vision. So I created my book covers and put those book covers up on the wall in my office so that I could see what it was that I was working on, and it excited me. I was like, "Whoa, this book cover is beautiful," and the theme of what I'm doing in this book is coming from my spirit. It's coming from my soul. I want to make sure that I see this thing through. Like I'm not just starting to stop this project. I'm starting to work this project to finish. I need to see this finished because even developing the book cover has brought me this far. So once I did that, I wrote chat a letter. So I would write chat a letter explaining what I wanted to accomplish with the book. And instead of asking chat to write the book for me, I explained the purpose, the message, and the transformation that I wanted readers to experience. And based on that letter, chat suggested chapter structure. I kept what fit, I changed what didn't fit, and I built my outline from that. My outlines became the foundation for the entire three-part series of the three books that I've created. I'm putting together a $27 course that walks people through this process step by step, including prompts that I use, how I refine my voice. This is the stuff that I have to say. How I refine my voice, how I cross-reference between the AI tools, and how I went from an idea to a self-published book. And if you're interested in writing your own book without losing your authentic voice, then that's what I'll be teaching in these. That's what you'll be able to read in those courses. If I'm teaching, then it goes into a different tier, and there's a different pricing, but the $27 course will give you the step-by-step process of what I was just explaining, and it'll add a little bit more detail into what it is that I did in order to get these ideas from just concept to complete implementation. Okay, I'll give you a little bit more. Once I had my chapters outlined, that's when I began to write. And for each chapter, I sat with the ideas and I journaled about it I actually wrote the ideas out, took a picture of everything that I wrote out, put it into chat, and chat built out. different concepts of what I was saying. I cross-referenced those concepts with Claude, and then I went back and I kind of researched each concept to make sure. I researched each concept from a perspective of, from a philosophical perspective, from a biblical perspective, from an intellectual perspective, from a metaphysical perspective, to see how we could marry each concept so that it spoke to each individual genre, so to speak. And that may seem like a lot, but that's what I wanted to express. That's how I wanted my brand to be presented. And so I did all of that tedious, busy work, and then created chapters based off of the relationship that I had built with it, as well as the understanding what it was that I was looking for, what it was that I wanted to see, and almost being able to say what it is that I wanted to say. And it still wasn't 100%, and that's okay, because I still went, like I said, you don't want to let more than 2 sentences go by without you reading those sentences through and making sure that it is being, what's being expressed to you is exactly something that is foundational to you. And that, we'll leave it at that, and then we'll build this out as time goes along. But that's it. And so that is where I started. That's made me an author, a published author. I have 3 books on Amazon right now. I have 2 mini books that break down 2 concepts, and each of those 2 mini books basically feed into the concept of the 3rd book. Those mini books are for about 40 pages each. Each chapter is about 2 to 3 pages. People don't read anymore, so I wanted to keep it light, but if it's something that they're really interested in, then they will pick it up. And then those 2 mini books flow into my 3rd book, which is a 100-page book, and that book is where my meat and potatoes is. That book is where I really, wanted to express um, what it was that I was doing with those 2 mini books, and plug that into what it is that I am that I wanted to express in that 3rd book. I also, and this will be in that $27 step-by-step plan. I got my editor on Fiverr. I went on Fiverr. I paid somebody to edit for me. I paid somebody to do my formatting for Amazon KDP, because it's really hard to do that. All of these extra tips will be in the book, in that $27 fallout, and as well as some prompts about how to prompt ChatGPT and Claude to do and say what it is that you want it to say. And once that happens, then you're just off to your final step. You upload your finished manuscript into Amazon KDP, and they have a very self-explanatory set of instructions. And you upload your manuscript, you upload your channel, the covers of the book, and then you wait on your approval back from them, and then they'll let you know when everything is finished and everything is published. But yeah, I just wanted to get this video out. It's a little bit in a raw, but thanks for sticking with me around. If you have, the links will be in my descriptions and in the bio for everything, so that you can have access to go look at for that that line by line instructions, and then you'll see what else that we're offering. But with that, thank you so much for sticking with me again. Like I said, I do want to end with this. This wasn't just about publishing books. This was about reconnecting with parts of myself that I've been waiting years to express. I've been saying I wanted to write a book for 20 years. I've been saying that I really, had these ideas, and with busy work and busy life, I wasn't able to get around to it. I got started a lot of times and I stopped. And these AI tools being available to us really helped me be able to get over those humps. All right. Blessings. Peace.